a buddy smarter than me that I was chatting with that was like, hey man, like you need to just have people want to hire you for like what you do. And that I think was a huge moment for me because you can always just recreate stuff that people want to have recreate. But if you can make something that, pulls at the heartstrings or is emotional or hits people in the right place and tells a good story, then they're going to come to you and say like, what do you want to do? What do you want to make when I get to a course or when I go do a video for a sand valley or abandoned dunes? It's like, I'm just going to shoot what I see and shoot the things that make me feel something. And then, there will be a story. I know I've done it enough times now to know that there will be some sort of visual story there. And I just got to trust that what I do and how I see it is going to be, enough to make the client happy.
All right, listener, welcome to the Whole Story Podcast. If you've been keeping track, we have ran out of fingers and toes. This is episode number 21. The Whole Story Podcast is now of legal drinking age. That may not sound like a big deal because what's 21 weeks? Yeah, 21 weeks. But 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. Of those 90% don't make it to episode 20. So technically, we are in the top 1% of all podcasts in the world, maybe a short shy of being the fastest growing podcast, but you know what? We don't look at our numbers that often, so maybe we are. Anyway, we hope that you've enjoyed it so far. If you haven't, I'll tell you, we've had musical guests, we've had the founder of the Golf Channel, we've had some friends that have just tried to be in the U.S. Open. Robby and I have chatted a couple times. Let's see. The highlights so far, Robby, I think has got to be your little flag behind you, right? Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah, I did chat with the social media or the media director at Pinehurst and got to go on site play number 2 and had a blast. So I mean everything's been a highlight, and today is not any different. But I've never been in the 1% of anything, so this is kind of a big deal.
That's right. Well, as normal, we're going to recap a little bit of what happened over the weekend. In the Women's AIG Open, Lilia Vu won her second major of the year, which actually is quite a feet. It's been they've been all over the place in terms of women this year. The PGA Tour had the first playoff event, and Lucas Glover, second win in a row. So maybe we can get Lucas on since Rory wasn't available last week. He went back to back, so maybe we can get Lucas on. It was hot in Memphis. I had a buddy of mine that went. I'm pretty sure he took his little children with him, which probably wasn't a good idea. But he was heading back to Alabama to get into the cool shade. So for those of you who are listening, and I know we've got one guy who's been sending this in every single week, the Ryder Cup word of the week is Scheffler. So if you're following along on social media, we're going to do our giveaway. And if you want an extra little vote into that win, you can go ahead and send us the DM us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you find us, Scheffler. But Robby, as always, we're not here to talk about professional golf. I'll let you introduce our guest.
Absolutely. I'm excited about this one. One, being it's the 21st episode, but two, I started following this guy. I want to say a few years ago, somebody said, hey, if you want to see some really cool stuff going on in golf, you need to follow his Instagram account. Started following it, started learning more and more about him. But a little rundown from St. Louis, still there. Married with a couple of daughters here. He's a Hall of Fame basketball coach as well. He's a photographer, videographer, just a creator of all things golf, media, stuff like that. Founder of Gimme Golf Club and the Gimme Golf Studio. And he's just one of those guys that is a gatherer of people. Like, it's just really cool to see the community he's built with Gimme Golf Club. They get together and play golf on Fridays all the time at one of the courses as a part of this group. But yeah, our guest today is Kyle Walton. Kyle, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to hopefully doing justice to episode 21.
Absolutely. Well, it's off to a good start so far. So, all right. Well, first, we got to ask, how's basketball season going?
Basketball season is good. I'm coaching a 5th grade girls team, my daughter's team. They're actually good. I actually have a little bit of background in basketball. I played a little bit in college and coached a high school basketball team for about 6 or 7 years. And so I do have, it's actually like, I wouldn't say it's my first love, but it's really close. If I would have been 6'3" or 6'4", I always joke that my career would have been much longer. Instead, I'm 5'10". So I had a lot of coaches told me to just maybe give it up. But yeah, basketball is good. The girls are working hard. They're getting better. They're fun to coach and I'm enjoying, and honestly just spending time with my kiddo.
Yeah. Is
You're
this your
sitting
oldest
down.
or youngest?
Youngest, so fifth
Okay.
grade, going in. They're going into fifth grade, but they're playing pretty competitive sixth grade basketball. So they're playing up a little bit and kind of testing themselves. They did win the state tournament for fourth graders last year, so they're a good little crew of girls. They work really hard, and it's fun. It's just been fun to be on the bench. My kid's like a little indifferent with it. Do you mind dad coaching? She's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay, that checks out. So
Sounds like a
Yeah,
fifth grade daughter. If
yeah,
you hadn't
yeah.
said you were 5'10", I was going to tell everybody watching on YouTube that whenever you stand up, you're like 6'7".
Yeah, no, no, no. Very specifically like remember like leading a like St. Louis University's like team camp and scoring one summer and had like Lorenzo Romar come to the camp and all this stuff, and he just sat down and big deep breath. He's like, "Well, I'm not going to recruit you. You're he's like you're 5'10". I was like, I get it, totally get it. So that was like the nice. I didn't have a bubble to burst, but I sat down and we didn't even make eye contact. We just sat on the bench. And I was like. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm short. No problems.
Yeah. Well, maybe that paved the way for what you're doing now. So
That's right.
obviously you are in the golf world. I'll just throw it out there like that. Who and when did you, I guess, get into the golf game? Who introduced you to it?
It's a good question. I was a graphic designer at like a small like product development company for a few years. I had a really interesting career. So I worked at a chemistry lab for a while, straight out of college. Then basically backdoored my way from into their like marketing department and taught myself how to do graphic design. That turned into a job with a small product development company selling like food scales and body scales into big box retail. So I did a lot of packaging design, a lot of marketing stuff that way. And then I wouldn't say I got fired, but didn't see eye to eye with the owner on some things. So gave me a nice runway to figure it out. Left, went to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Their world headquarters is here in St. Louis. Ended up being a graphic senior designer there, and then started doing some freelance. Actually convinced my boss there to start a video department. Um, and I'd never really turned on a camera. He kind of greenlit like $30,000 worth of camera equipment. All my cubicle mates were like, "You have never turned on a camera?" I was like, "I haven't. I have not done this." So taught myself through YouTube to take pictures and try to tell stories, and kind of grew up my freelance work to where I was at with Enterprise, and then like pulled like just left, like jumped and just went into the freelance world. Had a couple clients that sort of handled it for me and made it okay, and then just chased work. Did a lot of free work, did a lot of bartering work with different brands and stuff like that. And then I think one day, I don't even know why, but somebody sent me a video. And they were like, "Hey man, this looks like something you'd make." It was just a golf video. And I'd never really thought about the idea of making golf content before, even though I've been in love with the game my whole life. I've played my whole life. And just didn't, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together there. That seems like a pretty easy fit, but I just didn't. And then when someone sort of reached out, it was like, yeah, you know what? I could do this. So I kind of went down and made a video at Sweetens Cove. And this was probably 3 years ago. Um, Went down and made a video at Sweetens, paid for the round, like asked if I could meet up with some people, and they kind of helped me out. And I went down there sunrise, shot a video, and then kind of just went from there. Had a couple brands reach out. "Hey, can we send you some shoes? Can we send you a hat?" I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to I don't know if I'm going to do this again. And they're like, "It's okay. Like, we just love what you're doing." So did it. And kind of started to get some more people and eyeballs, which is how it kind of goes, like that sphere of influence. And then I went down to the PGA show, just like like January, February before COVID, like right before things got real weird. Like I remember like seeing my first like mask at an airport. Like when I was just like, that wasn't like someone from another country that typically would wear a mask, you know. It's like, as an American, I was like, what is, like, that's weird. But anyway, while I was down there, I'm crossed paths with a guy named Matt Cardis, Golf in Your State, good friend of mine. And he's kind of a golf hobo. He's got a Mercedes Sprinter van and kind of travels the country taking pictures. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a, I don't know, 30 video and 30-day kind of sprint for my brain. And he was like, don't do it. Do something with me. And I'm like, okay. So he said he was going to go quarantine at Sweetens, and kind of gave him some insight on how I would shoot it. I didn't go with him. Sent me all the footage. I chopped it up, turned into a pretty good little video series. And then the USGA approached him to take the US Open trophy on a tour across the country. And so he approached me to be the guy. And that's really where it took off, I think. And that was just whatever, 2018, or 2019, 2018, I can't remember. And that was when it really sort of took off, because it was COVID, you know, everything was closed up. There was no production team. It was my camera, my drone, my edit, and with Matt's, you know, sort of production and you know, pushing us through on the schedule and helping me create. Like, it was just us. And so when people asked who made it, like, my name was attached to it, and the phone just kind of started to ring. And from that moment, I think it's kind of been chaos. Like, it's just been one crazy adventure and opportunity after another.
I thought you were going to say you had like this Bobby Jones moment overlooking a dairy farm, and you thought, man, I've been taking pictures of cows. I should take pictures of golf. But
I did. I mean, trust me, I had the inclination that when I was working at, you know, at a dairy, you know, corn company,
yeah.
that I didn't want to be making those videos. But I'll tell you what, man, for what it's worth, hardest working people in the world, man, dairy farmers.
Oh,
Goodness.
100%.
I mean, I was done making 3 videos by 8:30 in the morning, and they're like, we're eating brisket at like 9 a.m. because that's lunch for them.
They've been up since 4 a.m.
Yeah, they've been going out since 2:30, 3 a.m. It's nuts. So yeah, no, it's been a crazy road. I've never really kind of done things normal. And in the midst of all that was kind of when I started Gimme too. So like both of these sort of golf things kind of are happening at the same time, and we're just kind of, I don't know, it feels like our hair's on fire. It feels like things are moving really fast, and sometimes it feels like things are moving really slow. We're just, you know, one day at a time.
You started out with the chemistry stuff. You haven't come up with Breaking Bad par yet?
Nope, haven't done that. Haven't done that.
Are you still doing other work, or do you think are you basically exclusively golf at this point?
It's golf.
Yeah.
I actually stepped away from a couple things this year. Like I never, I mean, even after 1 year, I didn't think I'd turn down the US Open and stuff like that. And it's not like I really wanted to go, but last year I was, you know, there was a couple times I was gone 27 straight days last year. Like, yeah. My kids were taller when I came home, and I don't know, it's just tough. It's tough. And I've been kind of running this, you know, I told my wife, like, 2 years, I asked for 2 years, no questions asked. And she's been amazing. Like, she gave it to me, but like, I wore that out. Like, I was gone. Like, I was gone a lot. And if I wasn't gone, you know, out of town, I was here building this whole thing that we have going on at Gimme. So, yeah, it just seemed a little selfish to kind of go check some more boxes that were just like, you know, it's paid gig, it's work. Like, that's definitely a conversation you have to have with your wife. It's like, you can't get mad. I'm going to Sand Valley next week. Like, that's a job. I'm getting paid. Like, you can't get mad at me for going to a resort. Like, that's kind of how this works. But yeah, it just didn't seem right. And I think I'm trying to grow the studio. So I have some people underneath me, not underneath me. I have a group of freelancers that are all willing to kind of do work. And it's like, well, the golf, I had a feeling like that recently, like the golf, like freelance game was a little, I don't know, cutthroat. Like, you know, guys just weren't willing to kind of share in some things. And so at least that was my experience. And that just doesn't really sit well with me or how I kind of work. So I was just like, if I can't go, I want my friends to eat. So why don't I start this thing that if I can't do it, then I can outsource it and I can take maybe a little off the top and handle all the invoicing and handle some of the conversation and production meetings and make the job really easy for my friend. And that would allow me to make a little bit of money without having to, be on the road all the time. So that's something that we're sort of on, like learning about and ongoing and growing, and it's going well. But yes,
That sounds like with real golf, right? It's better with friends than trying to just do it all on your own.
I mean, that's 100% how I operate all this stuff. Like, it's one of the reasons I wanted to hop out of freelance. Like, I had a buddy that was kind of helping me manage projects and stuff, and he kind of got like a big boy job and was like, I got to bounce out of this. And it just wasn't as fun. Like, it's way more fun to do it with people than it is to just kind of, soldier on by yourself, at least in my world.
You mentioned travel. So I'm pretty sure lots of guys would like to do this, but I also understand travel is hard. What's it like traveling around the country with the US Open trophy? I mean, are you pulling shots like you're the hockey team and you're drinking from it, or is there a little bit more respect than that?
I mean, we didn't do that. It was a little bit more respectful than that. And we didn't win, so I don't know. It felt like it's, like we were more just like the carrier. But I will say, like, the interactions we had with with humans, especially during that time, during COVID, like, it was a very like warm sort of like nice moment that we would have when we went to these cities, because we weren't really allowed to have parties. So if Matt knew people, we would do some sort of like small sort of intimate viewing in like an appropriate location. Like, that we just did our best. Like, no one knew anything. I mean, it was October of that year, so it's like we did our best. But it was yeah, man, that was the best part. Like, kind of we would walk up on the beach and just like some guy'd have a Titleist hat on, we'd be like, he's got to like golf. Like, hey sir, you ever seen the US Open trophy? And he's like, holy cow, like we would just surprise people with it. That was really cool. We finished up at we were sunset at Aaron Hills one night, and we just walked out onto the back patio. Everyone was eating dinner. We just were like, hey, anybody want to get a picture with the US Open trophy? And they were just like, oh my gosh, everybody went nuts. And so those sort of surprise and delight moments were honestly what got you through a 25-day trip on the road where, Mac, God love him, but like, I'd fight with my brother if I was on the road for 25 days. Like, me and him, like, it just got touchy. We got tired, we got cranky, we got hungry, and those moments definitely got us through.
What was it like having a camera case in one hand and US Open trophy in a case in the other? Like,
yeah, the case,
it was nervous taking that thing around?
Yeah, no, it was fine. We had it in the case, and it was super. It was in one of those big Pelican cases, and no one was the wiser. So, you get it on a plane and all's well, or we did drive a lot of it as well. So it was just in the back seat of the SUV. So, a couple times we had to have a car, like we flew from Aaron Hills to Cherry Hills, and then someone drove our vehicle with trophy through the night while we flew, and like met us there. So when we arrived, that our car that had the wrap, the big US Open wrap on it or whatever, was still there waiting for us. So, but no, it was never was like that. Everyone was always super surprised. And honestly, like, if you don't like golf, like, it's nothing. It's not, I mean, it's not, in that regard, it's not the Stanley Cup. It's not this huge like thing that people would just notice. So everyone would be like, what's that? So.
Yeah. Well, take us a little bit. I mean, you obviously a very creative person. We mentioned photographs, videos, and you talked about your freelance side and stuff. But take us through the process, like when a course calls you and says, "Hey, we want you to come," through your photos and videos, tell us a story. Or if you're doing a project for US Open or something like that, like, what is your process? Kind of what goes through your head as you're kind of going to help tell the story?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, most of the time with clients, they have a pretty specific story that they want to tell. And I just have sort of, I guess, found a visual style that sort of is uniquely, or maybe, is mine. And I think, for a while when I was trying to scale this business, I was like, how can I need to recreate me. I need to create another version of me, or have someone underneath me that is going to learn so that they can be like me. And that it posed to be a difficult problem because I think the creative process is a pretty unique space. And so it's hard to just recreate someone, like from that perspective. And so I had a buddy smarter than me that I was chatting with that was like, hey man, like you need to just have people want to hire you for like what you do. Like, don't worry about like trying to recreate yourself. Like, do less projects, charge more, trust in what you do. And like, then like when they call, they'll just say like, we want you to do what you do. Like, do your thing. And that I think was a huge moment for me because you can always just recreate stuff that people want to have recreate. But if you can make something that, pulls at the heartstrings or is emotional or hits people in the right place and tells a good story, then they're not even going to have an idea about what they want. They're going to come to you and say like, what do you want to do? What do you want to make? And for the last couple of years, once I focused on that, my job got a lot better because that's kind of been the space that I've lived in is just, when I get to a course or when I go do a video for a sand valley or abandoned dunes, it's like, I'm just going to shoot what I see and shoot the things that make me feel something. And then, there will be a story. I know I've done it enough times now to know that there will be some sort of visual story there. And I just got to trust that what I do and how I see it is going to be, enough to make the client happy.
Yeah, you sound like a golf course architect where it's like you got this piece of land and they say, I can see holes here and this here. And I mean, you're just out there doing your thing, like you said, and the story just kind of comes together. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
it's fairly reactive. I try not to go in with too many like set ideas. Like we'll have a storyboard, we'll talk about it. Like we're going to make a couple videos for Dream Golf, basically. So our next couple weeks are we go straight from Sand Valley home for a week and then out to Bandon. So and that's the same thing, basically like a story that is documenting like 4 people's first trip to Bandon. So all the things that are entailed in that is what we're going to do. And we're going to try to make the whole travel process like a romantic process. Like it takes a while to get there, but it's worth it.
If you need it to be about 6 people, Jonathan and I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I think there's a list. There's a list. You might not
Yeah,
be a little further down the list, but
we're a little farther down the list. I got you.
I'll put you on the list.
Appreciate it.
So it sounds, I mean, obviously you're in the middle of all these people calling you, asking you to do video things, but then Gimme Golf. So where does that fit into this whole picture? How did that get started? Where'd that idea come from?
Started at the exact same time. So we actually started it March of COVID, like March of whatever 20.
Good time to start a group of people trying to come together.
Yeah, I mean it was the worst thing ever. And so yeah, I mean I think that story sort of originated out of just in St. Louis specifically. The golf industry was a little bit broken. And obviously COVID sort of remedied a few things, at least for the interim. I think you're going to see things kind of level back out, but I don't know. There was Golf Now. I don't think was doing things well. Not to put a specific name to it, but the way that it was working here is they were coming in and taking these hot deals, taking these deals and giving $0 to the golf course and, giving them marketing by letting people see them on their website. Which was news to me. I had no idea that they weren't actually paying for those rounds. I was like, no way. And so then, those hot deals come in and someone can snag it for $15 or, whatever it ended up being, like $20, whatever it was. And it in St. Louis, at least for the golfing demographic, it kind of caused a race to the bottom. Like courses were just like, well, I played here for $17 last time. Why is it 45? Why is it 50? And it was like, and so like all these prices, they just kind of did this. And then the courses started to not look as nice. And it's like, well, of course, because I don't have so I sort of saw it and I was like, how can I just tried to solve the problem. I literally just kind of turned it on its head and was like, most of these golf courses are getting approached by people and the people are asking for money in exchange for marketing. Like, hey, if you give me money, I can help you out. And I was like, maybe we can just give them money and get access, and then we can do what we're good at. Like, we can tell good stories. We can create a network of people that will be loyal to these golf courses. And, we can sort of create this community that stays within their network and shows up to these courses. And yes, they may be getting some discounted golf, but they're going to buy their beer there. They know the drill. So they're going to spend all the ancillary dollars and sort of help create a culture that isn't so transient at these public golf courses. And so that's how I sort of thought about it. And we sort of have sort of negotiated revenue share deals in place. And, basically there's a pot of money that then just gets distributed to golf courses based on like rounds played and things like that, without getting too far into the weeds. We pay courses every month. Our members have access. They have access at different stages. We have one $25 course where our members have to pay $25 to play it. We got a couple $20 courses. We got a few $10 courses, and we got like 6 courses that are free. These all include cart. So they show up, they're a Gimme Golf Club member. They want to go play golf on a Tuesday, 10 a.m. And they show up, they check in, they get a cart. They don't pay anything. They go play golf. They could turn around and play 36 if they wanted to. It's the best deal for golf in the country. $125 or $195 a month.
So essentially, you're paying for a golf membership. It's just that you're not restricted to a course.
Correct.
Right?
It's
like
11 courses our members can play. And then we now have 2 clubhouses. We're just about ready to open up our second clubhouse, which is about 40 minutes away from this one here. And this one.
So tell us about the clubhouses. Tell us what you got. I mean, you got hitting bays, you got simulators, big putting green.
Yeah, we have
folks to come.
Yeah, this is our clubhouse. We have another one now that's called the South House. This is kind of the OG like St. Charles house. And it's 5,300 square feet. My office is here. It's where I am now. We have 3 TrackMan simulators, 250 square foot putting green. We have a full-time barber shop that runs out of our space. We have a giant lounge where people can hang. We got an office our members can have, a little conference room they can work out of. And then we have, we're working with a local microbrewery to put a like 8-tap house in the back. They're going to basically sublease the back and put in like a public bar that our members obviously have access to, but so will the public. So a way for the public to kind of come and interact with like our club. And that's like, we're kind of breaking ground on that now. It's been a long time coming. Honestly, it's like 2 years. We've kind of had that space empty and trying to figure out what to do with it. So when we opened this building, we had 2 TrackMans. Like we had the front golf space, and then like the middle space was not done. It was just carpet and gross, and we basically like tarped it off. And then we generated enough revenue to renovate the second space, and then tarped off the third space, generated revenue, built out the third space, and then now we have that back space that is like the last to come. We have no investment. Like we're basically bootstrapped this thing by ourselves. So that clubhouse, this clubhouse, and then we just opened up a South House that a member came to us. It's a bit of a beta franchise. Like we have a member who's like a managing partner who's basically fronting a lot of the build out and is going to reap a lot of the benefits from the clubhouse, and we'll maintain members and sort of have like an ongoing relationship. Honestly, it's a test for like future growth, honestly.
That's really cool.
We've been reached out to a lot of different cities, so we're trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like something that could be kind of replicated over and over again, and especially if the courses are seeing benefits of your members, because 1, they're part of the group, but 2, they're getting money for this, and not, like you said, not just the good old marketing dollars. So
yeah,
one of the things I always see you post about is your Friday afternoon gatherings, where you guys go out to a Baldwin Golf Club, and so tell us about that.
Yeah, we call it the potluck. So it's our Friday night skins game. So we approached Baldwin about having it mainly because Baldwin is like a sick little 9-hole golf course that is in like, I mean, it's the best. It's got to be one of the best kept munis in the country. It's perfect, and you can play it fast, and it's easy and fun, and it's just like it's a very welcoming place. And Friday afternoons, Friday evenings is not necessarily a massively like busy time for a golf course. So we were just like, all right, let's lean in. So We from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, we have the whole tee sheet, and there's no tee times really after us. Pro shop closes and it's all ours. So there's really no rules on how many people go out. They don't care because there's no one behind us. So we can play 4 wide, 5 wide, 6 wide. Doesn't really matter. It's just a skins game. We can have anywhere from 17, 18 guys to, 45, 50. Usually those bigger crowds come when Gimme decides to double the pot. We suddenly have more friends when there's more money in the pot. But no, it's just been a great way. There's no tee time. So you show up, you just, point it, you point it, you either bring a group with you or you just find 3 or 4 people and you just get on the tee box and start playing. And we usually buy a bunch of beer from them. Gimme just pays for it. We put it in a big cooler, stick it on the 9th hole, and let guys buy beer when they get there. And then, whatever they exhaust while they're on the golf course, they come back. There's one waiting for them. Everybody rolls in, has some chats and hangs. And that's sort of our Friday night potluck where everybody gets a chance to be together. And it's a great way for new people to kind of see what the fuss is about,
Well, I keep telling Jonathan that's one of those things. We're going to go see a Cardinals game, check out the clubhouse, and then come out and join you guys for a little Friday night potluck.
That's a great weekend, man. You'll be a happy person.
That sounds like a perfect weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you just did something with the APGA, right?
I did. Yeah, we have a really
cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. The APGA, first of all, I mean, those guys are so awesome. They're so good at golf, and I had a blast sort of telling their story. We were approached by Ascension. So Ascension is a local. They have the charity classic here at Norwood Hills. That'll be, I think, that first week of September. And then the APGA event is sponsored by Ascension, and they decided to do it like a month before. And so we did a little feature piece on one of the players. We played in the Pro-Am. And then the pro at Glen Echo is just a great friend and a great dude. And that was the host course. And he brought like 5 or 6 of the guys over to Gimme after the tournament was over. So we were able to, open up the tab for him, let him have a few beers, had a little chat, went out to dinner, and man, just what a cool group of guys. It's just fun to see them getting an opportunity. It's fun to see what that tour represents. And, it's one thing I've learned in this life is like, no matter where you go in this world, there is somebody that is really good at golf. No matter they're pro, amateur, doesn't matter. Like you can go to the smallest junior area college in the smallest town and whatever, and some guy's going to be there and he's going to be a stick and he's going to be really good at golf. And these guys are that. They're fantastic. And, I hope they get more opportunities. My goal is to, be a title sponsor for that event here in St. Louis sooner than later. I had a blast shooting it. I didn't get paid a dime to go shoot that. I just went out there and took some pictures because, I want to be supportive of what's going on. And then the Ascension is here in a couple of weeks. So September's like the week of September 5th, I think. And we're actually playing in the Pro-Am and then making a video of sort of like our Pro-Am experience. And then Ascension is taking one of their big hospitality tents and turning it into Club Gimme. And they're giving all of our members tickets and all of our members free hospitality for the day. And so it's just
cool.
A nice little like small business like nod. And then, I just told them, I was like, you don't have to pay me. Like, let's just work on some sort of like, how can this help my members? And they were like, well, what if we did this? And I'm like, that would be amazing. So Thursday, me and Kenny, my business partner, are going to play the Pro-Am. We're going to have, hopefully 40 to 60 guys out there following us around, and then head into the tent for some hospitality and hangs and stuff like that. So, but
you could do a member drive just before.
Yeah, right. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Free food and beer at the old Ascension.
That's right.
Speaking of finding really good golfers, you've got one in the family, your daughter Kinsley, right? So you document her story of getting better and better at golf, and this, as a dad, Jonathan's a dad. I mean, we just obviously
how old are your kids?
We've both got a 18-year-old who are about to go off to college, and I've got a 16-year-old daughter. So I got a boy and a girl.
Yeah. My oldest is 18. She is not interested in golf. I have a 15-year-old daughter who has the same level of interest, but I also have a 13-year-old son, so he's getting into it,
Okay.
starting to
Yeah.
swing a bit, having a good time out on the course together. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's probably the thing I'm asked about the most, honestly, in my Instagram world. It's really weird. It's usually like the random like coffee keep going posts that people find a lot of like motivation from when I'm really just like trying to convince myself to get off the couch and do something. And then these golf posts, like so like picture a tiger, like DMs about my daughter making the high school golf team. Like I get a lot of them. So it's very interesting to see what people are caring about these days. But yeah, no, it's been great. Like my goal from day one was to have fun. I was fortunate enough to have a golf course in my backyard. We have a 36-hole track in our backyard, so like like 35 feet out my back door, there's a fairway. So like I can be on the golf course whenever I want. So that's awesome for me, but also my daughter associated like fun and being with dad with golf. And I asked a lot of questions by some people that have kids that play the game and kids that are really good now and in college. And I just sort of tried to seek out some advice, and I wasn't really interested in them being competitive at all. My literal life hack was I want my kid to come home from college and like be willing to play like golf with me. That way I can get 4.5 hours, 5 hours with her. And, instead of coming home from college and just going and being with their friends. And so that was the whole intent, like truthfully. And then if she ever wanted to get competitive, like we could have the conversation. But I know when I got competitive, like I played high school, I played in college. I know when I started, I wasn't rushing it. The specialization of sports these days has just gotten absolutely insane. And so I just wasn't interested. Not, if a kid wants to go and a kid wants to play in junior worlds at 11 and do all this stuff, like that's fine. Like that'd be sick. I would have loved it if that would have been my story. It's just not. And so I just never pushed it. We were making sandcastles way more than we were hitting golf balls. We were driving the cart was way, way cooler than hitting any shot. But she just kept swinging. She swung hard from a day one. That was the one advice I got from somebody was make sure they swing absolutely as hard as they can, even if they spin themselves to the ground. Like you can't reteach a kid how to hit a ball hard. So that was great advice. I just told her to swing it like a broom and try to, hit it as hard as she could. She started making contact and one thing led to another. And yeah, we kind of took it pretty slow. And now she's going to be a freshman this year and she's decided that she kind of wanted to go. So she just went out this summer. We put her in 4 or 5 tournaments and yeah, I mean, she's not like the best golfer in the world, but like she's making some really good like strides and it's been fun. And I think a lot of people have related to it. Like I actually she had this, like, she almost broke 80 for the first time. And she had this moment where she had to par basically bogey the last hole when she doubled it. She like rinsed it in the water and, she's fighting to finish the round through tears and she puts it up and misses. And I'm not going to give it to her like that. That's just too easy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just not how golf works. And so I was just like, yeah, like I can say it because I've been there. Right. And we all have been there. So it's like, I get it. I'm really sorry. But there's a guy that I follow named Boyd Summerhays. His kids are just like dominate. They're great. And he's been so nice to me. I've been fortunate enough to find him at different events and take pictures of him and his family at junior amateurs and stuff like that. And he said something to me because I was like, dude, your kids are like, they'll get their butts beat and then you guys take a picture on the 18th hole like you're the happiest family in the world. I was like, how does this make sense? Because I know your kids are super competitive. And he's like, sports pain is not life pain. And I was like, man, like that's it. Like that's it. Because it hurts and it sucks, but it's not that big. It's not that big a deal. Like it is in the moment, but it's not. So I let her cry it out, let her have her moment. But I was, I posted that video and I got a DM from JJ Redick, NBA JJ Redick,
Yeah.
Duke. He was like, I just missed a putt to break 80 for the first time today. He's like, I know exactly what she's feeling. And I just was like, what a world, like what a world that like JJ Redick went through my story and like related to my 14-year-old daughter like not making a putt. And he was like, I love that. And you know what? When she does it and when I do it, it's going to be so much sweeter. And I was like, this doesn't even make sense that this is what, like, this is golf, right? Like everyone can relate to the game on almost every level. And if it's not, 70, breaking 70, it's breaking 80. If it's not breaking 80, it's breaking 90. And, insert whatever goal you're trying to achieve, the feeling, the hurt, the pain, the joy, it's all the exact same.
So he stopped crying long enough to send you a message. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He was probably crying. I don't know. When he missed
Yeah.
he had a video of
Yeah.
he had a video of him missing a putt and he like jumped in the air. He was like, no. So he was like definitely into it. And I'm assuming if you were an NBA athlete at all or a professional athlete at any level that you are uber competitive. So, but it's just, yeah, the game's brutal, man. It's you can feel so alone sometimes. And then other times you're on top of the world.
So does that make her the better golfer, or have you already broke 80 and you're like scratch golfer at one of
Yeah, she's not. She beat me for 9 holes one time. There's an asterisk by it, and she knows it. I didn't have a putter, a 3-wood, like 2 wedges and a 5-iron. They were stuck in my trunk, and my wife had to bring them up on the 6th hole. So yeah. I mean, I don't really play golf for score, but I'm a scratch golfer, so I I can usually get in the 60s a couple times a summer, but for the most part, she's not there yet. I'm not giving it to her that easily. She's gonna have to take it.
I'm in the 60s every time I play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps going like 100.
At some point.
I'm always in the 60s.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Might be on the front 9, but yeah.
Might be the front 9.
Take a picture whenever you're in the 60s.
That's right.
Well, I think one of the things you just said about the kids playing golf and having fun. I mean, that's what somebody told me. My kids did the PGA Junior League. When the drag, chip, and putt first started, they tried that and they loved it. But having fun out there, driving the cart around, like, just making putts or running around the course, like, it was a lot of fun. And now, I mean, my son is he's 18. I will confess, he did beat me for the first time the other day on 9 holes.
Love that.
I don't know if I can put an asterisk on that or not, but he he did get me. So, but
That's
but no,
awesome.
man, that's awesome. You're having fun. She's having fun with it, and we'll keep following along to see how she progresses.
So she just finished up high school tryouts, so she made the team as a freshman. So there's 3 girls on the varsity team that are like better. They're good, and seniors and juniors and stuff. And then there's like, I think there's 4 or 5 girls. They can only keep 6 on varsity. There's like 4 or 5 girls that are kind of all in that same boat where they're, low 40s, potentially can, shoot in the 30s, but,
Yeah.
And so she's going to probably get a few varsity like looks, but, I told her, I'm like, this is the beauty of golf. Like, you play well, like, doesn't matter. Like, you're going to get a chance. That's really all it comes down to. Just play good. So,
yeah.
So you might have a lot of these of being a scratch golfer, but we always like to ask, what is your best or most memorable golf shot?
This just happened. And it's dumb. I got a hole-in-one on a par 4.
On a par 4?
Yeah, that it can't. I mean, it's
that was
dumb.
the most humble brag I've ever heard in my life. It's kind of dumb, but
yeah, like it is like it's like it's like I think it's 4, like you're 4 times more like it's ridiculous. Like it's like 6 or 7 times harder to do this on a par 4 than it is on a regular one, and a regular one is like on a par 3 is like astronomical. So it was like a 300-yard par 4. But it's like, I don't know, as the crow flies, it was probably like 260, little dog leg right.
Where was it?
It's at St. Albans.
Okay.
It's a country club here in St. Louis. And it was a Monday I was playing, so it was closed. So bar tab was low. I hit a 3-wood. Like, I just was aiming at a bunker that was like 240. I was going to try and hit a little cut off of it, leave me right in front of the green. Like, I wasn't even trying to hit the green. And I like cut it and hit it like hard. Like, I hit it and I was like, oh man. And I was like, I literally was like, that might be in. And it bounced. And when it bounced up in the air, like, it was within the line of the pin. Like, when it bounced like 5 feet off the ground, like, it was within the line of the pin. And I was like, hey guys, I made it. That's cool, man. I just got a home run. That's awesome. We all like laugh and like walk up, and then we found their 2 golf balls. Like, I was actually helping them look, because I was like, oh, we got to find your ball. I'm going to be over here somewhere. and then it wasn't on the green. So I literally said out loud, I was like, here's the 40-foot walk where everyone's excited, and then it's like over the back of the green. And I have my Mackenzie, I have my carrying bag on my shoulder, and I got to the hole, and it's just sitting there. I mean, I dropped my bag right on the green, and was just like, what is going on? So yeah, par 4 hole in one. Had two buddies with me. Actually kept I was really concerned about the scorecard after that. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta keep a clean card. I think I shot 68, so had a pretty clean card after that. And yeah, it was an amazing day. This was just last fall. It was like towards the end of the season. So it was absolutely insane. So that's a very easy.
What hole number was it?
It was the fourth hole.
Okay. Fourth
So
hole, fourth one.
I think I birdied like the second hole and then double eagle, double eagled. So it was like 4 under through 4 holes, like after that one hole. And then yeah, kind of just kept it in check for the rest of the round. So
You'll always cut that corner from now on, right? Like,
yeah,
you have to be the guy that when you pull up.
I might make it. You never know. Well, that's funny.
Man, that's amazing. Robbie and I are still looking for a hole in one on a regular par 3. I haven't even thought about.
Yeah, I don't need anything else. Like I've got a hole in one. I have a family golf tournament called the Walton Cup that we've been doing for like 12 years. On our first one ever, I got an ace on the last par 3 with like 15 of my friends sitting around like dumb, like crazy good. And my dad is like lives in Indiana. Like, I've probably played like 30% of my golf with my dad in my life, and he was there for it. So that was super cool. And then I got one more at the course in my backyard, but both of my girls were with me. So like, I'm good, man. Like I don't need another. I'm fine. Like all my friends, my kids, and a par 4. So like I've used up all the good juju on the hole in ones.
It's who you play golf with too, right? You remember the hit, but you'll remember who's with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the reason I play. I mean, I played a lot of solo golf for a long time because none of my friends played, and then I just slowly convinced them all to take it up, and now they're more sickos than I am, and yeah, it's really hard for me to go out and play by myself now because it's not why I play.
Right.
Was there a free car on the Walton Cup? You didn't win a free car on that?
No, we did not have that spot. That
Okay.
time we were still sharing queen beds in the hotels. It was 15 years ago. So
Well, we always like to do a thing called Quick 9. So we're just going to ask you some quick questions. Robbie and I'll go back and forth.
Oh,
You
boy.
can elaborate as much as you want. I'm excited about the first question because you've played a lot of golf. What is the favorite course that you've played?
Oh my gosh. That's a tough one.
Loaded.
Let's see. I would have to say I have a friend of mine who's played a lot more good golf courses than I have. And I've been fortunate to play quite a few in the last couple of years. And he said that how you remember a routing after you're done, like if you can go back and remember every hole or a lot of the holes, then it's probably a testament to it being a good golf course. And so for me, Prairie Dunes is a course in Hutchinson, Kansas, that Perry Maxwell, that checks like all the boxes and is very, very high on my list. So that would probably be like, it would be my quick answer. Like I could get into lots of debates. I got lots of pictures back here of golf courses that were pretty good. I just took a Scotland trip and played a couple really good courses. And Scotland is obviously super special for a lot of reasons. And so, I wouldn't even say it was St. Andrews. I mean, obviously that's important for different reasons, but from a golf course perspective, it's like the 17th hole and the 18th hole, and everything else is kind of like, it's a great golf course. Don't get me wrong, but it's just visually, it's not as appealing. So like there's a course out there called Crail. It's like 20 minutes from St. Andrews that is just amazing, like 7th oldest course in the world. And I don't know, just all the right vibes. And so I've been fortunate enough to play that a couple times, and that place is really special to me as well. So those are two quick answers. I'm sure I could, we could pick those apart, and I could probably pick a couple better ones, but Prairie Dunes is really good.
Do you have a favorite that you've done work at, shot videos or footage?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I've probably played a hole, at least or two on the ones that I, have shot. But I did that trophy tour was pretty good to me. Oakmont's pretty special. I was able to shoot the junior am or the junior am or the yeah, I think the junior am at Oakmont. And that's just a big like beast. Like it's just a big, like mean golf course. So I really enjoyed Oakmont. Um, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
ones. So, but those are probably like quick answers. I mean, Augusta is a good one too.
I was just about ready to say, what is the course number one on your bucket list to play? And obviously bring your camera along, I would guess, if you're going to be on your bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably I want to I'm fortunate. There's a couple courses that are probably off the, like there's a new course that Rob Collins' newest course in Nebraska, Landman, is high on my list. I'm going out there in October though, so I'm going to be fortunate enough to play it for a couple days and take my camera as well. But I want to get to Cyprus. I want to get to Cyprus. I want to play in GLA. I haven't done a lot of Northeast golf, and I haven't done a lot of like West Coast golf. Um, so I'd love to get on in GLA and Shinnecock. Probably would be like my East Coast courses, and then I'd love to get on Cyprus.
That'd be cool. Do you have a favorite logo in golf?
One of my favorite logos. This is just off the cuff. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with a million of them, but I mean, Wingfoot's logos is amazing. And then
Yeah.
like MPCC, Monterey Peninsula Country Club, that little dragon sitting around the flag is a pretty filthy little logo. So
How'd you come up with your logo? A little side question there.
yeah, Gimme Golf Club logo. It's just a
Yeah.
little lion, little key
Yep.
holding the golf club. Nothing special. Just was, fishing around trying to find something. So we change stuff all the time around here. So we just got done with our member guest and sort of made a secondary logo for off of it. But yeah, it's just been a fun exercise in creativity.
A lot of your merchandise is sold out there
Yeah, a lot
on your
of,
website.
that's a operator error. That's on me. Like I got to get back into it. It's a task. It's a thing. And we're fortunate, like people are buying stuff from East Coast to West Coast. Like it's a big deal and it needs to have my attention. So I've had enough eye rolls and enough notes from members to be like, yo, bro, like, can we buy? We're trying to give you more of our money. So I'm actively working on getting the merch tent dialed again.
Who would be in your dream foursome?
Oh man. My dream foursome. I feel like I've answered this question before, at least to some extent, but I don't know, man. I mean, I mean, I'd be fine with Tiger Woods and my dad and my daughter. Like, I mean, it'd be pretty silly for me not to say Tiger just from sort of my age. I'm 41, and like, I mean, that is like peak Tiger guy for my whole life. I think I, left and went straight to the golf course to putt after the 97 Masters because I was like, I mean, what else was there to do? So I would love to play golf with Tiger. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to shoot him a couple times, but he's he's kind of a robot out there when he's competing. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, really. So
Yeah, he softened up a lot though. I mean, still super competitive when he's playing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you mentioned taking pictures of him. Do you have a favorite golfer out there? Maybe let's say besides your daughter, a favorite golfer to follow around, take pictures of?
Um, what has my camera done? Who does my camera have a good relationship with? I like taking pictures of Rory. Rory's a great guy to take pictures of. I've had some good. I got a couple good snaps of Max Homa. Um, he's been great. Everybody on the tour, honestly, the most fun that I've had is like the women's events. Like they're so like so much kinder. I think it's just there's a lot less like there's just a lot less attention. So they're not, it's not like they're not worn out with it or it's not lost on them, I think they appreciate it. And so a lot of the junior stuff that I've done, like the Curtis Cups and the Walker Cups, have been fantastic. Like Amari Avery's been a fun relationship to shoot. She's fantastic. She's super kind. Like she's been great to my kids. Like I took my daughter to Marion last year for the Curtis Cup, and because I went over to Conwy for the Curtis Cup that was in Wales, and that was like a COVID cup, so it was just like no parents. It was just USGA team, USA team plus a very small media team. So I kind of got to know them all a little bit better, at least from like just sending them photos that I took of them or whatever. And so whenever it came time to come to Marion, and I could track them down and say, hey, this is my kid, and they'd come over and take a picture and be super kind. So a lot of the amateurs and the girls, the ladies side of the games has been better to me than shooting some of the pros. Now, most of the time with the pros, it's like during a major. So like, I get it,
Their work.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. That's if they're gonna be mean 4 weeks out of the year, those are the ones that you probably do it on.
As busy as you are, do you find time, and what is your favorite golf tournament to watch?
Well, that's a good question. I would say at this point, it's the Open Championship probably. Yeah, it's the British for me. I usually like watching. I like that it's in the morning. I have like a lot of memories tied to just getting up in the middle of the night and watching golf as a kid and even in college. And so that one's good for me. The Masters is also a good one, but for the last couple of years at least, I've been on property, so it's been a little bit of a different experience.
You've been taking pictures while you were there on property?
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So
That's cool.
I've been there doing some work for the last 2 years, so it's been a fun experience, but it's not like I don't get to watch it on TV as much anymore, so it's a little different.
If you need assistance, Robby and I'm in Augusta.
Yeah.
Robby's just around the corner. I keep opening up my house to anybody that wants to come and hang out during the match.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's been a great couple of years, and obviously it's been something I've enjoyed doing. So it's just like to keep getting invited back and helping them tell great stories. So
yeah, if you a couple more, if you were the commissioner of golf, just all golf, is there something you would change about golf?
like the professional game?
Sure, or whatever.
I mean, I don't really have much thoughts on the professional game, honestly. Especially the state that it's in now. It's a little, I don't know. I feel like there's like a hard reset coming. So it's kind of hard to speak on from like a PGA Tour commissioner's perspective. But
what about just golf in general?
Yeah, I think that my experience in Scotland, I think, opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. Like St. Andrews is like, it's all it is golf, right? Like it's just golf. And it's everything to the people, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not held on this pedestal. Like it's really, really important, but that they're not like very pious about the game in general. I don't know how to describe it other than I feel like we get it a little bit wrong here. Like even the most elite like private courses in that area, like they have open play days. Like typically they're on the coast, but like the way to get to the coast is to walk through the golf course. So there's just like always people walking dogs like just through the property, and you just have to wait. And like there's just this, I feel like there's a bit of a, the private club world. I think we've taken some of the things that that other places have done, and we've like taken them to the nth degree from an exclusivity standpoint. And I'm not saying that everyone should have the right to play all of these golf courses, but I do like how golf is really, really important to the people of Scotland, but it's not like a class. It's not like a class world. Like golf is like those properties are like owned by the people. Like they exist.
Yeah, they're public trust.
They exist.
So people can walk all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're cheap and they're affordable. And so, I played with a guy who'd been playing St. Andrews since he was 10, and he had 20-year-old chinos on that had paint marks on them, and a crew neck sweatshirt, and like 9 clubs and no head covers, and was like a +1. And he was just like, yeah, this is my course where I play golf, you know, and it's like people in the United States would be like, oh my gosh, like St. Andrews. And
I'm here.
it's just not how it works over there. So I don't know. Accessibility is, I think, the conversation that I'm trying to say, but I'm not saying that it needs to happen in
Right.
some grandiose way, but like maybe just an open play day or a little bit more access or a little or something. Yeah.
You should bring that up to the Masters whenever you're down here.
Yeah.
Next time, you should be like, why don't you guys open up to the public like twice a year?
Yeah. I want to go back, so
We'll
I'm not offering up any ideas.
make sure that it's noted that you did not
Anonymous
yeah,
tip.
that's right. So what's next for Gimme Golf?
Man. Growth. Like I'm trying to figure out how to scale. We're at 438 members right now.
That's awesome.
In a couple years. So that's a good thing. We're starting to generate revenue. But I think I'm still trying to trust that I'm capable of doing this thing, and also trying to take these different revenue streams and try to be efficient and maximize them to their full potential, so that this thing can, one, stand alone and like create a nice living for my family and the people who work here, and also provide a nice club experience for our members that's unique. But we're not quite there yet, like we're just getting over this hump and starting to, see some money go to the bottom line, and, not exactly where I want to be revenue wise yet. So more members helps, more connections help, more reach helps. However many millions of people listen to this 21st podcast, right? Like it all matters. Like that's why I'm willing to have these chats, because it matters and it's not lost on me. Like, we haven't run a single ad for Gimme Golf Club. It's all been word of mouth. And that's been pretty intentional, because culture is important and community is important. And, we had 7 firefighters walk into our building the day we opened. We only had like 15 members and they all signed up. And I told my business partner, like, hey man, these guys could have been like not cool, and they could have totally like ruined our culture. And so like I didn't want a wide sales funnel until we had the ability to reach, the people that we got and built the sort of core membership that we have, to now it's like, okay, like somebody will come in now, they'll know if they fit in or they don't fit in. And we want everybody here, but like, there's some interesting folks in the game of golf, and we want to make sure that this is a welcoming and non-intimidating place for people to be introduced to the game. And if anybody is anything but that, like they just probably won't get along with a lot of people here.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, we've taken up way too much of your time. This has been a joy for us. One, I tell Jonathan, and we talked about it, like it's all about who you play golf with, but for us, folks we want to bring on here is people we respect and like, and see that, and kind of envision that we could come hang out and sit and have a beer with or whatever. And we definitely are going to plan a trip to come visit and play golf with you guys,
Right.
And come check out the multiple locations and watch you continue to grow this thing, because it's really cool. And we're excited what y'all are doing. Follow Gimme Golf Club online, gimmegolfclub.com. At some point, he'll have some more merchandise for everybody to go out and buy. But yeah, if you're in St. Louis, stop by, check it out. If you're there on a Friday and you got some clubs, go join them over at bowling and play some golf. But Kyle, we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. I again, like, keep doing what you're doing. I think conversations in golf are important. I know there's a lot of podcasts in the world, but this is the beauty of social media. It's the beauty of the internet, is that I know you guys now, and it's all because we picked up a phone or a Zoom and actually had a chat. And I think that that's super important. So kudos to you guys for what you're doing, and keep logging episodes.
Yep. Keep going, right?
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going. Absolutely. Well, we love golf stories. You've had some awesome ones, so we really appreciate it. Kyle, thank you. For Jonathan, this is Robby. Appreciate you guys listening to the Whole Story Podcast.